This Saturday, October 18th, I will be at the No Kings protest. This time around, I heard they have 2,600 protests planned in cities and towns around the country.
This Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th, the Antifa crowd, the pro-Hamas crowd, and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall.
This is about one thing and one thing only: to score political points with the terrorist wing of their party, which is set to hold, as Leader Scalise just commented on, a Hate America rally in D.C. next week.
And then October 18th is when the protest gets here. This will be a Soros paid-for protest where his professional protesters show up, the agitators show up. We'll have to get the National Guard out. Hopefully it'll be peaceful. I doubt it.
They're using all the words, maybe in preparation to try to take away this right to protest. A couple months ago, Rachel Maddow made a really good point. She talks about what happens if we don't use the rights that we currently have that are so under attack.
It's very obvious that this is not going to get better on its own. This is not going to fix itself. An authoritarian just seeks more and more and more power throughout not just politics, but through all of society, systematically trying to eliminate any effective means of opposing him. This is a one-way ratchet if we leave it up to him. It is clear now that these small d democratic tools that we've got right now as a country, these are as good as it is going to get. We are never going to have more resources to fight for our country than we do right now.
I think she's right. If the organizers of No Kings said, let's do this 6 months from now or a year from now, I don't think we could count on our First Amendment right to protest still being there by then.
Leah Greenberg, she's the co-founder of Indivisible, which is one of the main organizers of the No Kings rally. They've said that this is a un-American rally, that this is pro-Hamas, that this is about Antifa. Tell me, what is this rally actually about?
Well, the No Kings rally is a big tent political movement. We are calling on everyone who is standing up against Donald Trump's authoritarianism, his corruption, his attacks on our neighbors and on our rights. We're calling all those folks to come together collectively and push back. And that is what it is about. It is a joyful movement. It is a peaceful movement. These smears are transparently ridiculous and also quite sinister because they are very clearly setting up for a broader attack on free speech and the right to dissent in this country.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the psychology of fear and whether what we're seeing with the crackdown on immigration, with the rhetoric against protests, with the increasing language of using Antifa, even using the word domestic terrorist organizations, trying to link that to liberal causes or the George Soros Foundation. Talk to us about that climate and how it animates those that you would like to come out on No Kings Day.
Absolutely. Well, what we're seeing right now is straight out of the authoritarian playbook, right? Their whole idea is that if they can make enough people afraid, then we start to fall in line preemptively. We start to obey in advance, right? That is the whole idea, that once they've kind of created that climate of fear, they don't even have to do this repression because everyone just starts doing what they want. And we see them enact that playbook with businesses, with law firms, with higher education, and now they're trying to do it in civil society and philanthropy and on regular people. And that is what we have collectively got to oppose, because what we need to understand is that the authoritarian playbook, the idea that they are all powerful, the idea that they can get away with this, it's a lie. It's always been a lie. And the reason that they are so scared, the reason that they are trying to preemptively prevent us from expressing our rights is because they understand that large-scale peaceful protest is what exposes that lie, is what shows that we can actually collectively defy them, and what fuels the broader conditions for courage across society that's going to be necessary to push back.
I really love that, the power of peaceful protests to expose the lie of authoritarianism. If you think back to the Greek origin of the word democracy, it is that power flows from the people. And one theory of power is that a tyrant can just wield it over the people. But I think a more realistic view is that power depends on consent of the governed. So the people, by electing a president, for example, really loan that person power for those 4 years to use hopefully in the people's best interest. The people in a democracy have the power to peacefully withdraw their consent to the way that the president is governing. That's what's really cool about this planned No Kings protest part 2, is that the people are saying no. They're collectively turning their back on this tyrant in thousands of communities around the country. Okay, here's the website where you can find your local protest. Go to nokings.org and you'll see right on the front page, you can scroll down to a map. You can enter your zip code or just zoom in and find a protest somewhere near you. There are lots of them. Remember, this is the second one. The first one was back in June when Trump hosted that military parade in his honor, seemingly on his birthday in Washington, D.C. The second one, if you scroll down, why we're mobilizing on the 18th. President Trump thinks his rule is absolute, pouring money into authoritarian takeovers of cities, deploying federal forces, seizing local police departments, and funding mass detention and deportation operations while cutting services that working families rely on. He has openly said he wants a third term, peacefully mobilize in huge numbers to reject this corruption and abuse of power. It's in our DNA as a country. I think that is a really important thing to remember, that this is in our DNA. The Boston Tea Party preceded the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And any time we've gotten a little closer to that vision of a real multiracial democracy, it's often come from peaceful protest, from the women's suffrage movement to the civil rights movement to No Kings today. This is in our DNA. This is bigger than political disagreement. I think that's also a really important point. Democracy has become somehow partisan. Small d democracy that enables people to debate ideas on a level playing field. That's what's under attack here. This administration has defied our courts, deported American citizens, disappeared people off the streets, and slashed our services, all while orchestrating a massive giveaway to their billionaire allies. And we need to build a massive, visible, nonviolent national rejection of this crisis. The power is in your hands. And they talk about the tactics: marching, rallying, creating visibility. And a core principle behind all No Kings events is a commitment to nonviolent action and no civil disobedience. Now, of course, there is a time and a place for civil disobedience, but this Saturday is not it. They expect all participants to seek to de-escalate any potential confrontation, to act lawfully, no weapons, all events held in public spaces or on public property. So go to nokings.org, find your local protest. I really love this YouTube thing. I've been making videos for a few months now, and I've seen the power that it has to connect with a lot of people at once. That said, being online also can be pretty isolating. Back in 2017, I interviewed Timothy Snyder, who wrote this book on tyranny. He structured it as a set of 20 lessons for our times. I asked him about two of the lessons, number 12 and 13 here. Make eye contact in small talk, and practice corporeal politics. I want to share an excerpt here because since that conversation 8 years ago, his advice seems maybe even more fitting for us here in 2025. Timothy Snyder talks about the nature of democracy and the importance of physical space and being together in person. And I think back to the No Kings protest in June and how it felt, the psychological, almost spiritual benefit of being there in community with thousands of other people marching in the same direction. And I think for me, anyway, that was one of the most important parts of that day and something I'm really looking forward to this weekend. So I'm going to share an excerpt of this conversation with Timothy Snyder. I only have the audio, so I'll overlay it with some of the pictures that I took that day in June, mostly of signs, which you'll see were pretty great. Check this out.
One of the things that the Greeks had right about democracy is that democracy takes place with bodies and in space, that it happens in public, that there's something inherently public about democracy, that democracy involves the physical recognition of one citizen by another and the physical recognition of one person by another, that has to take place. Now, in terms of resistance, what's so important about being with people, the eye contact, or number 13, the corporeal politics, what's so important about being with other people is avoiding the sense of being alone. Right, because the way that authoritarianism works is that it atomizes. It makes the people who are for it feel like they're with some kind of group, and it makes people who are against feel like they're alone. It batters them with bad news. It gives them the sense of despair, and it's just at a human level extremely important to be able to be with people and to be recognized by people. That just morally, day after day, week after week, psychologically, month after month, year after year, that counts for a huge amount. The eye contact and small talk is like the corporeal politics, is also a way of making sure that we take care of a certain modern or whatever postmodern problem, which is getting lost in the internet. It's so easy to spend hours on the internet. And at the end of it, feel tired. And the reason we feel tired is that, we're outraged by this, we're outraged by that. We feel together with these people, we feel against the other people. But the risk is that at the end of that, we're tired, but we haven't maybe done the things that we should have done.
I am looking forward to the protests this weekend. If you feel like it, put in the comments where you'll be. I would love to know. And of course, we'll be talking more about this. Until the next one.